Something I wanted to ask, I see people talk online. The market's really hot right now. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, good question. They love to throw headlines around, but they don't really explain what's behind them, mostly because they don't really know the people that put those headlines out. The market being hot right now means that it is a seller's market. Buyers are climbing over each other to buy homes, and it's being driven by COVID, exodus from the cities, right? People, the first thing that we noticed about COVID, and it stayed consistent all the way through, is that everything is happening fast, right? And we saw the market tank quickly, the market recover quickly. Housing market's been on fire from the standpoint of every house is being bought. Like if you price a house today close to market value, you're going to get multiple bids by the weekend, and you're going to sell it for more than it's worth. In fact, I bid on 5 houses last Saturday. I offered over asking price on all 5 of them. You know how many I got? 0, none, right? So the demand is completely outstripping the supply. I saw some stats recently that in the lower price points, right, in the entry level and just above entry level homes nationwide, you'll see a stat that's called the months of inventory. How much inventory, right? And what it does, it takes the pace of sales compared to how many properties are active on the market. So if in a town there's 100 sales a month and there's 300 houses for sale right now, you've got 3 months of inventory. Typical is 6 months. Usually there's 6 months worth of inventory. So the pace of sales, if everything stopped, they would burn off all of the properties that are available in 6 months. We're talking about 2 months of active inventory right now, which is the lowest I've seen in 30 years of being in this business. So the question that we have is, when's it going to turn the other way? Since every single part of this market cycle undulation since COVID started has been fast, fast, fast. Right now, we've got an extreme seller's market. When is it going to begin to drift back over to being an even-handed market? Picture that pendulum, right? Seller's market. Sellers are in control. Sellers are the ones that are dictating the price. Buyers are bowing and scraping and trying to get a house, writing letters about how we love your home and we think that our children will be happy and well adjusted if we raise them in an environment of love, like it's clear in your home. Like that kind of crap is going on. When that starts to swing the other way, it goes through a period of being normal before it becomes an extreme buyer's market, if it ever does. An extreme buyer's market is the sellers are begging the buyers. There's too much supply, not enough people want to buy. There's nothing on the horizon that indicates that's coming, but an even-handed market would be nice. If and when, and hopefully it's a when, COVID fears drift to the background. Okay, we get a vaccine. It's no longer a political hot potato. So like people's concerns about that being a factor kind of fade away because the election fades away. People do forget things relatively quickly. There will be a time in the future where people want to move back into the cities again, for example, right? New York is not out and down for the count forever, but there'll be a point in the future where people say, you know what, I want to go back into the city. I want to go back to that pedestrian lifestyle. And that's only going to happen if they stop being afraid that somebody else's breath is going to kill them, right? Until that changes, properties in the suburbs are going to stay in high demand. And so like if you were going to buy a stock to play that, you would buy home builder stocks. Home builder stocks are going to be crazy because those guys are building all the houses they were going to build in the next 5 years. They're building in the next year because there's so much demand for it right now. So hot market means extreme seller's market. Properties get snapped up like crazy. It drives prices up. It has the potential to create a little bit of a bubble, right? If folks are irrationally overbidding for houses because they're desperate, eventually that pushes the line above the trend line and the market's got to correct. So you could see a decline in prices sometime in the future because we go too steep on the high side, or you could just see a leveling off. If the demand remains, it'll just level off and it won't appreciate as fast until it catches up to that trend line.
I'd like to see that, 30 or 50 year price appreciation chart updated to now to see what the like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll have that, for sure towards the end of the year. I've had a pretty good run at not making predictions, at being able to read housing activity today and forecasting housing statistics 6 months later. I'm a pretty good student of human nature and as it pertains to the decisions of where they want to live and how they want to live. And I've been pretty consistent about being able to forecast where things are going next. If anybody has any questions, I love the idea of being challenged to try to figure out what's going to happen next, and then read some of the tea leaves, and then try to search my intuition and my experience, and then make a proclamation. And if I'm right or I'm wrong, I don't mind going on record, because I've been right enough at the time that I'm proud of it, and I don't mind, apologizing when I'm wrong, or taking a hit for that. But if there's anybody out there that has a specific question of what's going to happen in 6 months, XYZ, or what do you think about the future of this market or that market? I'd love to put that, that thinking cap on and try to come up with a prediction.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily a prediction. It's like if there's enough human behavior, you can figure it out. Whereas like with COVID, it's like that had nothing to do with human behavior necessarily. So it's just there was no way to see that coming.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I didn't see coming. I did not see, like, there were some moments there where I'm like, well, wait a second. Everybody's terrified. They don't want to leave their homes. The economy is crashing, but they're buying Teslas in numbers that they've never seen before. So on the one hand, they're afraid, but not economically. They weren't afraid economically. Most people, unless they were directly impacted by COVID, didn't seem to be concerned. Like stupid little anecdotal things. All the home buying, right? I mean, if you're looking to get out of the city, you're gonna go buy a house because you're hyper motivated to get out of the city. So you go just buy a house. You look at 3 houses and you buy one. That was unusual. Like maybe you want to keep your powder dry. Maybe you want to rent a house. Maybe there weren't enough rental houses out there, so you had to buy. But like my friend owns a pre-owned jet ski watercraft store. He usually has his 50 things on the showroom floor. He got 2 by the middle of the summer. There were 2. It's like, well, who are all these people that are terrified of COVID, but are then going to go drop 15K on a used jet ski? There was a mismatch there between what we were told was the level of fear and then the people's behavior. And it might just come back to one very simple thing, is that Americans don't want to sacrifice for very long.
Yeah.
Right? We just don't like to sacrifice. We want to have fun. I'm depressed. I'm going to go buy a jet ski, and then when I go off my jet ski, I'm going to buy a handle of Tito's, and I'm going to drown my depression one way or the other. I don't know, but it was a tough one to call. It was much easier, and I believe I did think that when COVID hit, you're going to see a freeze of spending across the board, and we saw the actual opposite.